What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite handguns. Today we're going to be going over the full 1,000 round review of the H&K USP Expert. This thing is insane. Now the H&K USP Expert is a very interesting and very awesome gun to start off this review, but it does have some quirks that you might want to be aware of before you pick one up. We're going to go through the good, we're going to go through the bad, and everything in between. Before we get to that, I do want to mention my patron supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you guys, we had the ammo to do this review. So if you like the channel, you want to support the channel, it's the best way to do it. Go to the description of this video and every video and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. I also want to thank our new channel sponsor, Brownells. Brownells is a company we have worked with for a long time, and we really appreciate them sponsoring the channel and allowing me to make even better content than I could have made before. Brownells is one of my go-to spots for everything outdoor related. If you're looking at anything on the channel that you want to get, most likely it's at Brownells. You want to get my range gear, it's there. Everything we need for the channel will be right there at Brownells, and it happens to be an Iowa company, so please go over and check them out. Now the H&K USP Expert is a longer barreled, longer slide version of the standard USP. The USP is a gun that has legendary status when it comes to military, law enforcement, and civilian use because of its durability, its reliability, its accuracy, and its overall usefulness across the board. This gun, the USP Expert, was released in 1998, so it has been around for a while, and it has a lot of really modernized features that you wouldn't expect from a gun that's over 25 years old. There are tons of different models available of the USP, but personally this is the most attractive version for me because I happen to really like a long slide 9mm. This gun comes with a 5.2 inch barrel, a very long sight radius, match sights as you can see there, a match trigger, and a 15 or 18 round magazine capacity depending on which one you get. And if you get the 15 rounder like I have, you can also get the 18 round mags, so no big deal there. It is a polymer frame double single action pistol. The polymer is actually reinforced with steel as well because HK overbuilds everything, as we'll get to here in a minute. One of the coolest factors of the H&K is going to be that green ring of death. Now that is an O-ring that allows better lockup on the barrel to increase accuracy. We have ambi controls on either side. As I said, the safety decocker. If you want to rock it cocked and lock, you can push it up to safe. If you want to decock the pistol, you push it all the way down, and you can carry it in double action just like this with the hammer down, or you can carry it cocked and locked like a 1911. It also has a paddle magazine release, as you can see there, and this is my 15 round mag, and the paddle magazine release is an old school version of it from H&K. There are more updated versions, but this one still works really well, and if you're a left-hander, this gun is completely ambi for you, so no need to worry about swapping everything over. It's already ready to go. The gun also rocks a black nitride finish, one of the first guns to do that because, again, H&K completely over-tests their guns. For example, this H&K USP Expert goes through a freeze test, a sand test, a mud test, a dirt test, a drop test, and a saltwater test before they even release it for you to buy it. Along with that O-ring, the gun has polygonal rifling, which is sort of controversial, sort of not, but in my personal experience, not to let anything go early, but this is one of the most accurate pistols I've ever fired on the channel. And again, being 25 years old and still being able to perform that well is extremely impressive. Add to the fact that not only the German military, but many militaries across the world not only use the USP, but the German military actually still does use the USP to this day. Now, the gun starts out as a big old chunk of metal, and it's completely milled down along with the barrel, raising the quality even higher than your standard pistol. Internal parts are also coated with anti-corrosion coating to make sure that if you dunk this in salt water for 30 days, your gun still works. Now, one of the cooler features of the gun is the incredibly light recoil spring. You can run this with arthritic hands. You can run this with like 2 fingers. So if you want to maybe arm grandma up and get her strapped, you can definitely give her a USP Expert and she can still use it. Not only is it easy to rack, it's also easy to shoot. It has very low recoil as well, being a double action design, having relatively good ergonomics, and that longer slide actually helps out with the recoil, and it's a very quick shooting gun. Now, as far as our testing goes, we shot 1,000 rounds for this, and we did actually experience some failures in the first shots. Yeah, the recoil impulse is so inconsistent. but that was due to the fact that I was using Phoenix ammunition remanufactured, and it was from 2021, arguably some of the worst ammo you can buy for reliability at the worst time period you could buy it. And the second we switched this ammunition for the remaining 950 rounds, we experienced no malfunctions, and that was with Federal ammunition, that was with Fiocchi, that was with some of my competition reloads. We use 115 grain, we use 124 grain self-defense ammunition, and we also use some 147 grain subsonic, and all of them worked extremely well in the HK USP as I expected. So after the initial first shots, absolutely no failures, so I would absolutely attribute all that to the shitty remanufactured ammo that we were using to begin with. Now, as far as the accuracy of the gun, we mentioned that earlier. The O-ring helps out, the cold hammer forged barrel helps out a lot, the polygonal rifling helps out, the match sights with the incredibly long sight radius also help, but in my personal opinion, what makes this gun over the top as far as accuracy goes is going to be that trigger. As you can see here, we have a 4.5 pound single action match trigger in an HK USP. Now, the standard H&K will not have that good of a trigger, so if you're interested in that out of the box, you gotta go expert. We were able to hit at distances of up to 130 yards with this handgun, and with offhand shooting a 9mm handgun, that is extremely impressive. Yeah, I think we're at about 130 yards now. Yep. Add to the fact that at 7 and 10 yards, we were able to group almost one whole groups. You can really get some extreme accuracy out of this, and you're not sacrificing shootability like with a lot of accurate handguns. This handgun not only has a decent capacity, it has very low recoil, but it can be fired very quickly because along with that 4.5 pound match trigger, this gun also has a short reset kit in it. The reset of the trigger is also very short by comparison to your standard HK double action guns. I would say it's probably half the distance of the reset of my HK P30, which is a newer gun, and that allows you to fire the gun much quicker. Now, along with that, we also happen to have an accessory rail here. It's not perfect, it's not a standard pick rail, but for being released in 1998, even having an accessory rail on a polymer frame handgun is very impressive. The texture on the grip is very good. We have limited texture on the side, but a lot of aggressive texture on the front strap and the back strap, which is something that modern day companies still don't really get right. The reason why you want that is this is where you want to grip the most, and then this ends up rubbing on your stomach, for example, if you're going to carry it. So it is a good compromise between aggressive and non-aggressive texture, and I think it's done extremely well. Again, very forward thinking for 1998, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and there are some things that I don't like about the HK USP Expert. First off, it has a very tall bore axis, as you can see here, and that doesn't really affect the shooting experience, but it does make the grip relatively short. Now, a lot of these guns I've seen, they've put a mag well on it, which I think I will do in the future because it allows just a little more grip service. Because one of the things about the gun that does feel a little weird is it does have a very long barrel with a relatively short grip. It's not short in here, but it's short here because it has that high bore axis because of the double action system that it runs. But it does still feel pretty good for me, but newer shooters that try it for the first time, I can tell it feels a bit weird.
This feels fucking weird in my hand. Cause
yeah.
Like, the gun itself is so big and the handle is like not nearly big enough.
Yeah, I know, it's a little weird. Not only because the grip is short, but it's a little bit blocky. It's not quite as ergonomic as maybe something like a P30 or an HK VP9, which they really knocked out of the park with the grip. The second thing I would hit on is obviously the standard capacity. It's a pretty big gun, 28 ounces, 5.25 inch barrel, and it still comes with that 15 round capacity. Very forward thinking for 1998, but in the current year of 2024, you can get, let's say, a SIG P365 AXG that's smaller than a Glock 19, and it has 17+1. So you can definitely get better capacity for smaller guns, but you don't get the cool factor of the USP. And that's one of the things that I wanted to really comment on is sometimes you can buy guns just because you like them. And I personally bought this just because I like it. I like the way it looks. I've seen it in a lot of movies. I wanted a 9mm version of the HK Mark 23, which I also own and love, and I've played in lots of video games and watched in lots of movies. I love the silhouette of the USP. I love the idea of the USP, but the original USP that you can get for like $500 or $600 doesn't come with that match trigger, doesn't come with the sights, and it doesn't have the performance out of the box that I can get with the Expert. And that's why I went with the Expert, because right out of the box you get that awesome trigger, awesome sights, and incredible accuracy, and you still get the reliability and durability of the smaller version, but you do have to pay for it, and that's the other con. The con of the Expert is that not only are they extremely hard to find because they come into the country in very small batches, and when they do come into the country, sometimes you can find them for $1,000, sometimes you can find them even for $800 if you're looking, but most of the time they're going to be $1,200 and up. And if they haven't been introduced into the country for a while because they make a batch in, let's say, the year 2000, and then they don't reintroduce another one to 2004, by the time 2003 or 2004 runs around, the prices are all the way up to double what they would be. So you might be able to get lucky and get one right as they come into the country, but if you don't, you're going to end up paying an arm and a leg. I've seen these guns in modern day go all the way up above $2,000. Now, do I think it's worth that as a home defense, self-defense gun? There's so many other choices of guns that you can get that are on par with this that are $600-700. For example, the new Glock 34 Gen 5 or the M&P 2.0 5-inch will do almost everything this will do, probably for more capacity, for probably about half the price. Now, again, it doesn't have the cool factor, and if you're looking for that sweet, sweet HK awesomeness, you are going to have to pay for it with every other HK gun as well. So if you're a fanboy, I'm sure you're fucking used to it. Personally, I got mine 2 years ago for around $1,100, and I thought I got a pretty good deal. Overall, do I think the H&K USP Expert is a great gun? I absolutely do. It's hard to find a gun that was introduced in 1998 that is still relevant today, but the H&K USP absolutely is. It can be used for a concealed carry gun. It can be used for a home defense gun. You can go out and shoot a damn match with it and still do pretty well. I would imagine that I could go into production class in USPSA and do relatively well with this handgun. On top of that, it's double single action and iron sights, so I think it would do really well. Overall, I think it's a great gun. I think it's hyper stylized. I think it's unbelievably cool, incredibly accurate, and super reliable, but very expensive. And if it's not your bag, that's absolutely fine. There's tons of other options out there. The new PDP, the new Canic, all of those are going to come in for less money and perform just as well, but they sure as hell don't look this good. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. Of modern features you wouldn't expect from a gun that is almost, what is it, 20 years
30?
old? Yeah, 1998, 2008, 2018.
It's 2024, almost 30.
26 years old. There's a fucking Falcon right behind you flying. Do you see that? I mean, that's cool as hell. We gotta take a break.
Nature break.
Look at him gliding right there.
Hold on, I'm seeing if I can get him. I don't see him anymore.
Oh, he's going in the tree.
Oh.
See him in the tree over there?
Well, I might be able to zoom in. We are blessed. Hi, Falcon.
That was our friendly neighborhood falcon that we got to witness kill another bird the other day in front of our house, which was pretty cool in my opinion. It's like the Discovery Channel out here, but with guns.